All right, now y'all, what's up? This your man Pristine back with another video. This is the rear primary camera for the Moto X4. Now we've got a primary 12 megapixel sensor here, and then we've got a secondary 8 megapixel sensor which has the wide angle 120 degree field of view. Now that is an awesome feature. The camera system on this phone is superb in my personal opinion. Around the front we've got a 16 megapixel selfie camera, and it also takes amazing photos. Now along with the decent cameras here, you get a slew of features. I mean, you know, you get panorama, you get pro mode, you know, you've got depth enabled, you know, for the bokeh effect pictures. You get a slew of functions and features, and then when you go ahead and slide it in pro mode, I mean, you basically got total control, where you can, you know, just control just the white balance and all that type of thing with the camera to really get that image and that video quality that you're looking for. Now, the only thing that's missing from this camera system is optical image stabilization. Now, there is electronic image stabilization, and so videos do look good when you're filming and you're moving, but they're not as crisp, not as smooth as it would be if the camera system had optical image stabilization. So, you know, I'm walking kind of gingerly right now, so I'm at work in the hallway, so I'm just going to, you know, speed up the pace a little bit. And go ahead and turn around here. Now, this is just me and my normal stroll, you know what I mean? It's not that bad. You know, I've had some phones that had no optical image stabilization or electronic image stabilization, and although the overall quality looked good, just the shakiness just completely ruined the video, you know what I mean? So for cameras that don't have either optical image stabilization or electronic image stabilization, then you're really gonna have to have a steady hand. You may get a selfie stick or something like that to keep the camera lens stable while you're moving. But aside from that, the camera here on this phone is absolutely phenomenal, and I do appreciate the fact that there is electronic image stabilization, and you know, I'd rather have that than no stabilization at all. Now, another one of the things that I really feel like is a little bit of a downer with this camera. Again, I appreciate the fact that it has the wide angle lens. They definitely tore a page out of LG's playbook. Here I am downtown Seattle. Here you guys can see that it's just completely ugly outside, and that's kind of typical for this time of year. With having the wide angle lens camera, you would think that you would have the option to switch to the wide angle view while you're recording. Well, Motorola does not give you that option to do that. So before you start filming, you have to either choose the primary 12 megapixel sensor, or you have to choose the 8 megapixel sensor. There's no interchanging between the camera lenses while you're recording. So what I'll do is I'll close this video out, and then I'll start recording another one with the wide angle camera so that you guys can get an idea of what that looks like. All right, so let me know what you guys think down below for the 12 megapixel selfie primary camera on the Moto X4. Peace. Okay, you guys, so now I'm back again with the Moto X4. Now I'm recording with the 8 megapixel wide angle camera that is also on the rear of the device. And as I mentioned in the video a second ago that I did using the primary camera, this is an 8 megapixel sensor with a 120 degree wide angle field of view. So as you can see, you can definitely get a lot in the picture. Now, as I mentioned in the other video that I just did with the primary camera, the only thing that sucks about this camera is you do not have the ability to choose to the primary camera. Like, say, like right now, if I just wanted to switch to the primary camera, I cannot do that. Okay, so my thinking is, if you're going to tear a page out of LG's playbook and implement this technology on your phone, you know, especially for a lot of us that have used LG products and are kind of used to, you know, the ability to do certain things with the camera that they offer, it's like, give us the same thing. You know, why not just copycat it to a T if it's something that you're gonna copy? You know, now again, I do like the fact that this is on this phone here. If you're a person out there that would like to get your hands on a dual camera system that has a wide angle lens, this is a great option. It's much cheaper than a lot of the LG devices right now that offer this. Actually, you can get a V20 right now for cheaper than this phone. This phone costs $399 full retail. You know, I think you can go and get a V20, which has this option for like $384 or something like that. I think I've seen them a little cheaper on Amazon. You can buy them used or something like that. But the G6 is still going to cost you like $500 or $600. And then, of course, if you want to get the V30, that's going to run you between either $800 to $850, depending on where you get it from. So this is going to cost. You cut the price in half, and you're getting this for $400. And besides the cameras, I mean, you're getting a very, very, very solid device, and it has great cameras as well. So this is the 8 megapixel wide angle camera that is on the rear of the Moto X4. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'm your man Pristine. Peace. What's going on, y'all? It's your man Pristine, back with another video. This is the front-facing 16 megapixel selfie camera for the Moto X4. Now, this phone is a mid-range beast. You know what I mean? Motorola, they put together a jewel with this particular device, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good devices out there. You know, some devices, you know, I consider them to be, you know, diamonds in a rough. You know, they come out and, you know, you expect them to not be all that great, or there's just, you know, you kind of assume that they may just be average, you know, just because of the specs. People, what you got to understand is really one of the main ways to determine how good a phone really is to really get it in your hands and test it. You know what I mean? Now, I didn't get this device when it first came out, because at the time I had the Moto Z2 Play, and I never ended up getting any of the Moto mods and stuff like that. And I figure if you're gonna have a Z2 Force or a Z2 Play, you know, it's Moto mod compatible, so you want to get some Moto mods. Well, I didn't think the mods were that big of a deal, so I never got any of them. But it kind of defeats the purpose of having that particular phone, because you've got all these additions that you can add on to enhance the experience. Well, if that's not something that you're into, then I think that the Moto X4 here would be a great option. You know, it's a beautifully crafted device, IP68 water and dust resistant, dual camera setup on the back, 16 megapixel selfie camera here, which I'm recording on, and it looks absolutely stunning. You know, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of onboard storage with memory expansion up to 256 gigs. We've got a Snapdragon 630 processor in it, which is a very battery efficient processor, 3,000 milliamp hour battery that's going to last you all day. I mean, beautiful design, Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on the front and back. This is the sterling blue color, and you can also get it in black. This is a really, really good device. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm also really enjoying the cameras. My goodness. The cameras, they're fully loaded. All the bells and whistles that you can want in a camera. You know, you've got different modes that supply you with the bokeh effect on the front-facing and the rear cameras. Now, again, as I mentioned, this is a 16 megapixel selfie camera here on the front. You've got a slew of options to customize, portrait mode, all that kind of thing. Now, if you turn the phone around, then you've got a 12 megapixel main camera, and then you've got another 8 megapixel wide angle lens. Just kind of, you know, Motorola, they tore a page out of LG's playbook. Now, that wide angle camera, you get it gives you the option to choose between the regular lens or the wide angle. When you hit the wide angle, then you get 120 degree field of view. So you're talking about, you know, from the primary camera, you know, hitting that wide angle, you're able to capture a lot more in the picture. You know what I mean? And that is definitely a welcomed feature. So again, that's another thing to consider for all you people out there that like the wide angle lenses. Typically, they're on LG devices. I feel like LG is the one that pretty much brought that, you know, introduced that to the smartphone camera game. There's been like a couple of other devices that I've seen that feature on. But this would just be a cheaper option. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously right now, LG's latest and greatest is the LG V30, which I think is a very underrated, possibly the best Android smartphone of 2017. I'm still trying to get my hands on that, man. I'm waiting for it to go on sale, but as soon as it does, I'm copping that because the V30 is dope. But if you don't want to pay $850 for the V30, then the Moto X4 here might be an option for you. It's half the price. If the wide angle camera lens, among other features, is something that you desire in your smartphone. Now, I'm down at the train station. I'm gonna go ahead and hop out the car real quick, take a walk around. Now, I feel like I don't understand why OEMs do this, man. They give us these dope cameras, spec'd out to the T, and then they leave out optical image stabilization. Now, sadly, this phone does not have optical image stabilization, and that would be, I think, the feature that this camera should have that really would take it over the top. I mean, the camera system's already great, you know, just with the, you know, the pixels, you know, the color reproduction. I mean, being able to, you know, record in 4K in the front and rear cameras, portrait mode, all those different things, all the different customizations and things that you can do. But they left out optical image stabilization. So here, let me get out of the car, walk around for a little bit, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Now, back down at the train station, hopefully a train doesn't come through, because if it does, you know, then the video is probably going to be ruined because it's hella loud. We got some sprinkling going on out here. As you can see, it's a gloomy day, rainy day, you know, Seattle, Washington, this time of year, typical stuff. But I'm not tripping, because if it starts to pour down while I'm out here doing this video, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the phone is IP68 water and dust resistant. So we ain't worried about no water. You know what I'm saying? This phone is built for these types of conditions. You see what I'm saying? Now, as you guys can see, as I'm moving around, there's a little bit of camera shake. As I mentioned, no optical image stabilization here. But as far as the overall camera quality itself and the way things look, the way that I look, the camera is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, now there is an all right, so as I mentioned, you can get this phone right now at your local Best Buy for, I believe, $399, or that's not the $399 is the regular retail price. I believe it's on sale right now for $349.99, so you can get 50 bucks off. This phone that I'm recording with is the Amazon variant. There is an Amazon variant, and so on Amazon, you can get this device right now for $279.99 if you don't mind the phone being completely loaded with a bunch of Amazon bloatware. Now, to save the money, to me, I think it's worth it. But if that's not something that you're into, then like I said, you've got the full retail option. Or if you want to get it on sale, you can get it on sale for 50 bucks off right now at your local Best Buy. Not exactly sure how much long that deal is going to be going on. So, oh, and you can also get it on the Motorola website also for $349.99 as well. So, you know, 50 bucks off, or you can take the Amazon route and get it for $279.99. I think with taxes and everything, I paid like $307.82, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. The apps, the Amazon ads on the lock screen, they're not really all that intrusive. I'm all about saving a dollar. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you guys think about the 16 megapixel selfie camera on the Moto X4 here. All right. Talk to you guys in the next video. Oh, and you already know, man, Eagle Nation, all my Eagle fans out there, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? We got Minnesota coming to town. Now everybody's jumping on Minnesota's bandwagon. Last week, oh, Atlanta, they coming to Philly. They gonna beat Philly. Well, what happened? Now everybody's jumping on Minnesota's bandwagon, thinking they gonna come to Philly and win in Philly. Come on, man. You guys got to understand, man. Philadelphia is the #1 seed, and they're the #1 seed for a reason. They got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Why is it that all these other teams that are seeded lower than us, people are picking over us at home? Atlanta, they were the #6 seed. Okay, Minnesota, they're the #2 seed. They're #2 for a reason. We #1, and we staying that way all the way to the Super Bowl, man. Eagle Nation, let's go.